All right, let's go live here. Let's make sure things are working. Have the chats open here, so I have the stream running on YouTube and also on Facebook. Awesome. All right. We are live. Let me keep the chat open here so I can answer questions as I see them popping up. Hey guys, good afternoon from California, good evening, good morning, maybe in different parts of the world, or afternoon as well. So I'm back, Monday, our XD weekly, and today I will talk about an area that I'm really passionate about around plugins. And before we get there, I just wanna spend some time learning where you're tuning in from. So please let me know your city, your country, maybe what you do, your role. Are you a designer? Are you a project manager? What do you do? Are you a developer? And let me know if you have any questions. This is a channel, a direct channel, where you can ask any questions. You can share feedback. You can complain. You can share constructive feedback. This is really a channel for you to talk to us. And again, use this opportunity to ask anything. I will try to answer. I'm seeing one question here already from M33 Hardy. I think it's we need XD to Photoshop ASAP. So I'd like to ask you a question. Why do you need that? What's the workflow you're trying to get with this scenario? The reason I'm asking that, the reason I'm giving you the question again is because in most of the times we see that question when teams are used to sharing PSDs to developers, for developers to get all the assets and all that. And we already have in XD a design specs workflow where you can, as a designer, you can create a link and developers can get all the information they need to develop the app or website. That's why I'm asking. If that's the workflow, design specs are a lot better. So they don't even need to have XD or Photoshop installed to get to that scenario, to get to the assets, get to all the measurements, and they don't have to spend a lot of time digging in the PSD to get there. If that's the main reason, I would highly recommend testing design specs in XD. Yes, that's right. He's saying that because devs in my country only accept Photoshop. They're only familiar with XD and they won't bother to. Perfect. So again, let me show, as we warm up here, I just want to get things started. Let me share my screen here to show what I mean by that. So here I have an artboard, and let's say I will draw, I don't know, maybe a pin icon here just to try to answer that question. Let me undo this, select these two elements, align, and use Boolean operations to get to this anchor point. I'm creating an icon here. Let's say this is gonna be my app, a very simple app. And I use some sort of pink there to make it lighter. Perfect. Nice. I'll change it to a blue like that. Nice. So let's say this is my UI. Of course, I could grab assets from UI kit and draw whatever I want here, but let's say that at this point I want to share this UI. Let's say I'll also do, like, let's say this has this header up here. I'm not gonna bother like to do a lot of elements here, but let's say it has some elements like that. Let's say this is my UI, right? And I want to share this with developers. Again, your workflow really involves sharing a PSD with developers, and they go there and they have to inspect the PSD. Sometimes the PSD is big, so we have a better workflow for that. Very easy for them to use. So I can have one artboard or multiple artboards here, and I can then click here on share, and I can hit publish design specs, give it a name. This is an iOS. If I want, I can even mark this guy for export so the developer can download this icon. So I'll say this is gonna be the pin icon. I'm using the layers panel here on the bottom to give it a name, and I'm marking this for export. So I just checked the little icon there. When it's marked for export, I can select that artboard that I want to share. publish design specs, and now that asset is included, and I can create a link. This link can be public, can be private, only emails that you invite get access to it, or you can have a password. So it can be, the link is accessible, but you can only see what's inside if you add the password. Now that I have this there, as a designer, I can say, hey developer, this is the link where you can get all the information you need. And then they will be able to get to this place. They will be able to see all colors that are used. They can select elements here and hover other elements to see measurements. And as a developer, because as a designer, I'm marked that for export, I can click here and I can download that asset as SVG, PNG, or PDF. So again, a lot easier. They don't have to have the tools installed. They don't have to dig into PSDs to get to that scenario. So this can be a lot more effective. And they can also give you comments here, so you can have conversations with developers. Not only comments, but you can say, please mark this for export as well. And they can not only give you comments, but they can pin areas of your artboard to get there. So again, a workflow that's a lot more suited and targeted. Of course, a lot of people are still using PSDs for that, but that was not the initial idea. Like Photoshop is the best tool for pixels, for manipulating pixels, complex effects and all that, but not for design specs, not for that kind of scenario. So this is designed for that kind of scenario, a lot more effective. Hopefully this answers your question right there. All right, let me go back here to the questions. Iser is saying that usually when there's an update for XD, you cannot copy and paste objects from Illustrator. Is there something I do wrong? Not really. Illustrator puts a lot of things on the clipboard, and we use SVG to paste into XD. So if that's not working, I would recommend exporting an SVG from Illustrator and then copying and then pasting in XD. If you want to send it back, again, you can export that asset as an SVG, and then it goes to Illustrator. But we're doing a lot of work. I don't want to sneak a lot of stuff around the Illustrator workflow, but make sure you check, please make sure you check our live stream next week where we have Adobe Max, the main keynote. Gabrielle is there on the chat, and she is posting some links there. So make sure you go to max.adobe.com to check the live stream for the keynote, and we're gonna be sharing a lot of great news about the XD to Illustrator and Illustrator to XD actually workflow, where you can do a lot. So I'm not gonna share too much there. Cool. People from Germany, hey there. Help go from prototype to website. I'll mention a little bit of that. Daniel, how about micro interactions? Micro interactions, again, make sure you check the stream next week. That's all I can say for now. Let's see here. Iser is asking why there's no export as JPEG in DevSpec. Great question. Let's see here. Let me search my... I think there is a reason. I just want to try one thing very quickly here. If I get this asset, I can download as SVG, PNG, and PDF. Great question. Let me ask the team responsible for this feature, and I'll get back to you. Or if someone on the team is watching, please answer. Iser, great question. Edgar, missing black or light interface option. That is not only white but also black interface. Yeah, we're sticking to the white interface, the light interface for now, mainly because we're still trying to reduce friction from design workflows, and that feature request is big. We know that, but I would say it's not a high priority at this moment. All right. There's another question from the same guy. Hey, what about XD to After Effects? Again, watch the keynote next week. What new features? Awesome. All right. This is one chat. Let me see if I have questions from another chat here. All right. There's a lot happening here. Let me get to the last. Yeah, Pinskin saying it might have to do with transparency. Maybe that's the case. Yeah, let's give it a try with something that's not transparent and see if it works. All right. Watch the keynote, quiz, questions. Shared libraries. Jason is asking. Hey Jason, good to see you again. Hey Chris, good to see you again. If we have news on shared libraries and version control, sharing symbols is something that we are really focused on. And again, watch the keynote next week. And versioning is something that we are actively working, but it's not there yet. We're still collecting a lot of feedback, testing a lot of features, but in the works. Totally in the works. All right. There's a lot of questions here. Thanks for helping there, Pinsky. Howard. All right, cool. Let's see here. GIFs into XD. Amanda is asking. Not yet. Video and GIFs is something that is also like in our list, in our backlog. One thing that I'd like to show here, if you can go to adobeXD.uservoice.com to check if you have that one, so what the status is for that one. So you can search for GIF and you can see import GIFs or videos is something that has a lot of votes. It is in our backlog and you can upvote here. So as soon as you do that, you subscribe to the feature so you get notifications and all of that. So let me try one thing here, and I got curious and I like to do things. Let me copy Chris' picture here, copy image, and let's draw something here, and I'll right click, paste appearance. Now I have Chris there. Let me rename him to pick, and I will mark this for export. Design spec, publish design spec, so no transparency, 2 assets, iOS. I'll update the same link. Let me go back there, refresh this guy, and let's see if it works now. PNG. No, actually that's not happening as well. Yeah, it's probably the preset that's iOS based. Let me try one more thing. I'll change this to web, update. Trying to solve this problem in real time. Refresh this guy. Yeah, it's actually not there yet. So JPEG is not a feature here for the download option yet, just yet. But I will ping the team responsible for this area and I will get an answer for you. Cool. Let me take a last check here. Yeah, thanks Chris, Jason for tuning in all the time. This is great to see you guys here. All right, so I forgot to introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Damon Barba. I work on XD since 2015, the beginning of it, before it was even a beta project. It was something, XD is something that we're working on for the last 4 years. It's a huge deal for Adobe. There's a big team behind it, and we have a lot of ways to communicate with the community. One is via user voice, Twitter. So if you use hashtag Adobe XD, the entire team sees it and they answer. I go live here every Monday. We have lives throughout the week. We have an amazing live with Talent and the design team on Fridays. Amazing. So there's a lot of ways for us to communicate. So that's me. So I would invite you again. I'd like to invite you again to, if you can, make to Adobe Max, and if you cannot be there in person, we're gonna live stream the keynotes next week. So there's a lot of new features landing in XD, in different apps, great announcements. It's a great conference in Los Angeles this year, and this is our biggest release for XD yet, and we're super excited with that. So make sure you check that out. The other thing I'd like to mention is we have a contest running. So if you want to play with XD, you can download it for free. You don't have to have a paid account to use XD. There's a paid version that gives you the option to create multiple links for design specs and prototypes on the web, but that's the only difference. Everything else is the same app running on Mac, on Windows. You can create as many projects as you want, documents as you want, and use. So this contest, what we're asking you, and the contest ends this Wednesday at midnight. All we're asking is for you to download this UI kit, Tractive UI kit, and then download a contact list screen. And then I have the UI kit here to show you. Let me close this project right now. And this is the UI kit, and we're asking you to design a contact list screen, something like this probably, but more towards contacts with phone information and all that. And then all you gotta do is create a link, just publish a prototype here, and post that link on Twitter using hashtag Adobe XD UI kit and hashtag contest. That's all. And then when the contest ends, we're gonna randomly select a winner, and the winner will get a brand new MacBook Pro, 13 inches, amazing computer, brand new, and 1 year of Creative Cloud, all apps. That's amazing. One brand new computer and all the apps in Creative Cloud that you can imagine. Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, everything. XD, the paid version for 1 year. Perfect. So that's the contest that's happening right now. All right, let me close this and let me create a new document very quickly here. And just prep my screen very quickly. All right. And let's check for questions here one last time before I jump into plugins. Henrik is asking, any news on USB tethering for Windows? Yes, and I would invite you to check the keynote next week. Henrik. Awesome. All right, let me see if I have questions on this other chat. We can include more interaction animations as well. As Edgar is saying, yeah, you need more animation features. Again, make sure you check the keynote next week. Hassan is asking, how can I get in this? I would say, what do you mean this? The tool, the contest? Let me get the link here to the challenge and paste that into the other channel. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Let me copy this and I'll paste this on YouTube as well. All right, questions here. USB connection, see your tweet. All right, so I think we're good for the questions now. We answered a lot of them for now. Let's jump into what I had planned for today, which is plugins. So one thing I'd like to mention here is that we are working on plugins for a long time. So even though we're very close to launching a plugin infrastructure for XD, we are creating the app since the early days in a way that it can be extended via plugins. The team itself uses a lot of that infrastructure to add more features to XD. It's a very solid and very well tested, well validated infrastructure. We even announced a $10 million fund for plugin developers interested in extending not only XD but other tools in the Creative Cloud ecosystem. It starts with XD here, and you can apply and you can submit your idea and go from there. Very, very interesting, very, very solid. And the idea here, I'm not going to get into too many details here, but the idea here is to have a very solid set of APIs that you can use as a plugin developer, and then using JavaScript with very little code, you'll be able to do a lot. Get things out of XD, get things into XD, keep that connection, bring data from spreadsheets, and there's a lot of power there in this plugin plugin ecosystem. And I decided to bring some plugins to show you. So we're gonna announce this very soon. And last week, Talon demoed a couple of plugins, and I'd like to show you some of the plugins that I like the most, that I'm more excited with, and hopefully you get a sense of how powerful this could be. And I'll be checking for questions here. If you want, feel free to ask anything. All right, so let's get started here. So the first plugin that I want to show is this one. So I went ahead and I created a Google Sheets document here. So let me paste this here and I'll show you what that is. So this is living in the cloud, and a lot of companies are using that for copywriting. Like you have all of your content in one place. And this is my direct team now. So now I work with key customers, visiting all the not only the community but a lot of big brands to bring all that feedback to the product team. And especially around plugins, I was one of the first product managers focused on extensibility way back in the very beginning. And this is my team now. So what you can see here, you have some like you can call it a key, right? It's a key and then a value, a key and a value. So name, title, and you can see here the values of it. And for this plugin to work, you can also have links to images. As you can see, very simple. How cool would it be if I could have a repeat grid here that has a bunch of elements? And as you can see, let me expand this very quickly. As you can see here, I have my repeat grid, and if I expand this, you can see this guy is the image, so the name is image. This is description, this is Twitter handle, title, name. You can see it has these different layer names for the different assets here. So in XD, very soon you'll be able to use plugins. So the one I want to show first is called Google Sheets, and you can paste a public link. So I will use that. I'll paste that link that I copied here. Let me try that again. Select the guy, Google Sheets, paste public link. Demo gods, come on. There we go. All right. So it's now reading that, and it's getting the name, the title, the Twitter. It's trying to map with the keys that I had in that Google Sheet, and you can see it's all there. I named it the same, and that's why it did all the work for me. Then if I hit apply, it will download not only the text but all the images from the URLs that were there. So if you remember, I had links to images here, and now they downloaded here. So I was able to grab content that was there outside into XD. Pretty powerful, and we're really excited with this one. But not only that, you can also bring content from CSV. So if I have another example, let me create that document. Let's say my plan is to, I'll say name, and I'll have that guy here. Then I can go to, let me create a repeat grid just to show you that in action. And I will go to plugins, Google Sheets. I will load a CSV, a local CSV. I can select it from my computer. Let's get that from this guy here. Then again, I need to tell XD where I want to get that. So I have a lot of different options in that CSV. I will get the movie title in this case, and then hit apply, and it will pull all that information here into XD. Let me restart XD. It was open for almost 2 days. Let me open this again. Let me restart this quickly. We call it name, right? So let me do this. All right, plugins, Google Sheets, load CSV. I'll select that CSV again. Open, apply. We picked the movie title. Come on, man, don't. All right, moving forward. Now let's talk about the other plugin that I want to show here. And this is one that helps you bring data from other sources. It's similar to this one, but it uses a different format. We're still polishing like the last touches here, so make sure things are there. In this one, we'll use a JSON. So if you copy this URL and test in the browser, you can see this is a JSON file, and it returns all that for you, and it's all here, right? And if I select these elements, let's say I'll select all the elements. I don't know if you saw here, but you have curly braces here and as variables, almost like variables. And then I can go to data populator, populate with URL or JSON. If I download that JSON, I can then tell it to load. It's gonna load that same JSON that we just saw, and you can see it has all the values here. Again, you have to map the key here with whatever you have in curly braces there, and then if you choose to populate, it will populate and it will bring the assets, in this case images, from the web as well. So it's pulling the information from the web, the images from the web. Pretty cool as well, one by one here. Cool. Let me see if I have questions here. All right, yeah, I have 50 new comments. All right. All right, no big questions. Things are going, no problem. Everything's loaded here. My internet is not that fast here. That's probably why things are slow here, but you get the idea. We're still polishing a lot of the last minute things here. Cool. And then this is data populator, the ability to have variables, and I'll undo this for you to see again. Variables in curly braces, and then you can map that to JSON and any content that's coming from other sources into your UI. So it gives you more power as you bring content. Another plugin that I'd like to show is around personas. So there's a lot of pre-UI execution work or UX execution work where you have to spend a lot of time defining personas and you have to design the card. It'd be nice to have some sort of template that could help you in that process. So there's one called Personas, and they're bringing more assets here, more ideas. And here you can pick how many personas you want, the language, if you want a vector or a real picture. Let's do a vector here, and then you hit finish. It will download everything and it will create the personas for you. As it loads, let's see here. Come on, internet. I'll probably switch to a different internet here. Let's do that right now. It's probably what's causing the issues that we saw before. There we go. Let me do that again. Nice, it's still working. Let me try this with a new document. Plugins, personas. Now that we have a different internet. Next, for vector, finish. So as you can see, yes, that was the internet. You can see I got persona cards here, and it's using vector icons, and I can start playing with this. And if for some reason I don't like, let's say, the grain here, you know, you have the power of the assets panel where you can say, okay, I don't like that grain, I want to change this. So I just select any element that has that grain, open the assets panel here, and then add that color, right click, edit. And if I change this to, let's say, a pink, and you can see all areas here are changing. Here I have a gradient. I can also add that gradient, and I can add the gradient too. So this is going to be that pink to maybe a darker version of that same pink. And as you can see, with very few clicks, I can change the entire look and feel of that. I can also do that with fonts and play with it. Very cool. So we saw Google Sheets, we saw data populator, personas. Now let's talk about another one here. And this is based on a big feature request. Feature requests. If you click here on user voice and you check the feature request, one that's here is guides. So we know that a lot of people are asking for guides, and that's in the roadmap. We're working on it, but there's a plugin that can help you with that. So if you have, let's say, your artboard here and you want to start adding guides, you can go to plugins, guide, and then you can add quick guides, or you can do more. So continue trial. Let's say I want margins around. I'll do that 20 pixels as margins. Then I want 2 columns and I want 7 rows, and I want gutter, vertical gutter as 10 and horizontal as 10 as well. Something that you cannot do in XD today. Then I just tell it to add the guides, and as you can see, now I have all these elements designed. They're just lines, but they are in this group called guide, and I can lock them, so they're locked. You cannot do anything. And if I design now, you can see things are, oh, I was drawing an artboard. Let me draw a rectangle here, and you can see things are very nice there, and you can use the guides to help you. And I would always recommend to lock the guides as you do this, so you can have a lot of very smart and powerful behaviors here in XD. Awesome. And the last one is, let's say I have, actually, yeah, I'll show one more. Let's say I have all these layers and I want to name them. I want to organize this. It's kind of a mess, and I want to do it all at once. I can select all the layers here, holding shift, then I can go to plugins, rename selected layers. Let's try this again. Plugins. All right, so I have, let me select all the layers, sorry. It has to be unlocked. All right, here I can say whatever I want. Let's say my name is, I'll call it line, and then you can use percentage here and n to get a sense of, okay, it's gonna use that as a variable to create names. You can also use layer width if you have an element selected that has a width or a height to be that. So if an icon, for example, you can add that to the layer name, and then if I hit rename, this will rename all the layers, and as you can see here, and things are now renamed in a batch way, so a lot faster than doing one by one. Then I can export these guys, and you will maintain the layer name in the exported asset. Cool. All right, I had that challenge with the internet. Let's try that again. So that was, let me use the other document here, and let's try with fast internet name. That was like a movie title, right? And I was trying to show you could use titles, text coming from the CSV. So let's try that again. Google Sheets, load CSV. I will select that guy right there. Let's go here again. All right, there we go. Apply. There we go. So it was just an internet problem that was creating this scenario, and I can adjust here. Where's the, there you go. I can move this to that side, and I can play with that. So this information is coming from a CSV. All right, so these are amazing plugins that you can expect coming very, very soon into XD. And I hope you guys enjoyed. seeing how they work. We're still polishing a couple of plugins here, but let's see if we have more questions. All right. Victor, let's see how much XD is improving. All right. No questions, no direct questions. All right. Let's see on this other chat. All right, for design, let me just take a quick look here if we have more questions. If I missed any questions. Can you live sync with APIs? Yes, if you build it that way via socket, and we're gonna have a lot of great documentation to help you with that. That's a question from Herrick. Demo team working in one XD file. Chris is asking about real-time collaboration, and we have a big team dedicated to it. We're working on it. Hassan, what skills should I have to build plugins? It's very simple. It's JavaScript. I would say basic JavaScript ES6, and there's going to be a lot of sample code out there, so it's going to be very, very easy. You can run plugins based on your entire list of artboards or based on your selection. It's really easy. We got that question about supported GIFs already. Any kind of animation yet? Touch King is asking. Yeah, so we are, as you know, now you can go from one artboard to another. You can do a little bit more with fixed elements and overlays, but that's not enough. We know that you need to have that set of animations happening within the same artboard, and we're doing that work. And I would invite you to check our keynote next week at Adobe Max. All right. XD to HTML. Again, I can totally see that happening with a plugin, right? And we have a huge list of plugins that will be announced, and I just demoed a couple of them. Find and replace text, that's also possible. A lot of great things there. All right, guys, we're way over time here, but thanks for your patience. Thanks for all the questions here. This is great today. It's amazing to see so many good questions. Make sure you run plugins with a better internet. That internet that I was running had very slow internet. As soon as I switched to a faster internet, things started to work. Make sure you participate in the contest if you wanna fight for that brand new computer and 1 year of Creative Cloud. And yes, thanks for all the feedback. This is amazing, guys. I'm really, really happy to be talking with you here. Right, I'll be back next week. And until then, feel free to join us on Twitter on that contest and share any feedback you have at any time. So with that, thank you very much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.